Yo, what's up guys, this is your boy Sewell. So finally, after all, we can say this KVK is over. So personally, I've gained about 11 billion KP this KVK. Gotta shout out to two of my pilots just because I didn't have enough time to play on this KVK. So they did most of the job. And as for resources spending, there we have the number. That's crazy. 125 billion resources in one KVK. And the KP ranking, currently I'm 11th. And the ratio is crazy because my pilots, they got micro. They know how to play. They're pro. So this video, mainly we're gonna be talking about my setups and auxiliary skills. So before getting to that, we gotta know this map is Siege of All Lanes. So basically, on this map, you got 3 more passive on each one of your marches. So the damage from any open field march on this map, it's just crazier than normal. So that's why before we actually enter the KVK, I was sending some sort of guide to my people. So basically, commander like Nevsky, Wallace, and Shaja as primary is not recommended to use on this map. That's just my opinion because I think the damage is overwhelming already. Single damage would just overkill your target, and sometimes just makes you rage reset. It just sucks. But Ho Chibin is definitely an exception, just because he has shorter rage. So as you can see, the entire idea of making peer on this map is like putting AoE commander as primary, and then better to have an instant proc, or it's an AoE duel. Now let's get into my setups in terms of 7 marches. So for every single KVK, I use same setups like 1 siege, 3 archers, 1 infantry, and then 2 cavalries. So on this map, the siege I was using was this pair. The reason I'm putting this guy as primary is because AoE damage is very important, and especially for siege march. Because sometimes it's just very weird that a tower is very easy to lose target. Like the auto attack comes so late, and then somehow you just lose a target. It happens to every single tower. I don't know why. So that's why I think putting AoE damage as primary is very important. Otherwise, if you put this guy as secondary, sometimes you just can't even throw your ulti. And as for the auxiliary skills, we can talk about that later. So the 3 archers I'm using on this KVK are Zhuge Philip, Archer Nebu, and then Herman YSG. And the reason I'm putting Nebu behind Archer is because sometimes I need to rally with number 8, so Henry and Archer, because I used to pair Archer with YSG like all the time, but on this map I choose to put YSG behind Herman. Yeah, so the idea is always to balance your marching speed plus some auxiliary skills. I'll show you guys later. So 1 infantry is definitely Scipio Liu, as I mentioned all the time. That's the best infantry march in terms of team fight, not solo. Or you may use Ragnar Liu Che, that works too. Cavalries, so I was using Arthur William and then Huo Jiuang. That is the bomb. So that's my 7 marches. And then let's have a look at the gears. So I'm putting my best gear on Archer just because it's easier to switch between field and then rally. And then that's the 2nd archer. So basically all of my field marchers are like level 3. That's the 3rd archer. And then 1 infantry. And then cavalry. Yeah, for those 2 I have to slowly working on that. It just takes time. And then Arthur. Yeah, as you can notice, I'm using Hall and Drum. Right now I have 3 drums, and I'm planning to make the 4th. And yes, I dismantled some of the rings, like 2 or 3 rings to make drums. So if you start to make drums, make sure you put on calves. You gotta put on 2 calves, and then 1 infantry, and then 1 archer. That's the meta, trust me. Then let's move on to armaments. So that's the completely new delta formation on my Arthur. I completely switch transfer from one of the wedge to delta. Right after I have butterfly effect. So this thing is a must-have if you want to play delta. And then for my second cavalry, it's not perfect, but it should be fine. And then the infantry, 0 special inscriptions. But after this season, probably I'm putting destructive on that. The best archer wedge is on Zhuge. And then that's the second best one. That's the third one. And I have my archer here. That's for rally and garrison only, not on field. Yeah, so now let's move on to auxiliary skills. So the entire idea is like second skill, usually it's like some of the stats, and marching speed, especially for archers and infantries. And then third skill usually just tankiness. Yeah, like tankiness. And then fourth skill, sometimes it's like all damage increase and whatever. So let's start with Huo. So like I mentioned before, since we ditched out Nevsky, so Nevsky is perfect on being used as auxiliary skills. So I'm putting Nevsky 4th on on Ho Chi Minh. And then the second skill, you can notice on my cavalry, I'm not using marching speed because cavalry are fast enough. So this skill right here as secondary, and then the third one I'm using epic belly. The reason why is because some people may think Bailey is better at 4th skill, like this one. This skill is OP when it comes to long-term battle, especially for rally and garrison. But when you play open field, the condition is you need to hit someone is below 50 health bar. And the idea of that just doesn't make sense. Like, because we kill one march so fast. And if you want to use this skill, that means you need to always focus on the low HP marches. If you play like that, it just doesn't give you any KP, The only way to get KP is to always focus on those healthy march. And that's the proper way to play a team fight. So this skill is overrated on open field. If you have your 7 marches ready, like you are pretty strong at open field already, you don't need this skill. But if you are free to play or just run 1 or 2 march, then definitely you can use this one, just because you lack of DPS. The third one is not bad, like 30% of defense. In fact, it's way stronger than Chandra. Like 20% of health and a debuff. Single target debuff is also overrated on this map. Like I mentioned, because we kill marches so fast, we don't need extra single debuff. That's the whole point. Single debuffs, single damage is useless on this map for open field. So Arthur Prime, if you are not running Liu Che Alex, then you better put Alex's second skill on Arthur Prime. You can notice the cooldown is only 3 seconds, and the fact that combo commander can just utilize this all of those random skill more often. So this skill is a masterpiece. And then the third skill I'm using Takeda is pretty tanky. And then the fourth skill, this one is really insane, especially with birdie flag effect. So some people may think Attila 4th skill looks decent on Arthur. It is more often to trigger, but the entire idea of that, it just doesn't work the way you think. I'll tell you why. Because the thing that Butterfly does is like, whenever you deal combo attack, you have 20% more chance to trigger things. And you must notice that all of the buff and debuffs in this game, it only get effective on the next following turns. So let's say you deal combo attack this turn, and you trigger Attila 4th skill. So that's going to be effective on the following turns. But think about this. What are the following turns going to be? So the turns after that, usually just going to deal normal attack. It's not going to pop up any instant proc anymore, because that goes into cooldown. So somehow Butterfly effect plus Attila 4th is just overrated. But if you look at this skill, it has 25% chance to stack And guess what? From my testing, with this 4 skill, you literally can stack 3 times in 1 turn, and it lasts 4 seconds. That is really insane. And then for infantry, because I'm using only 1 infantry, so this skill has to be paired with the march with Liu Che. That's too much normal attack. And then the rest of 2, you can, on this skill, you can also use Pyrrhus. Especially if you're running 2 infantry, this one gotta be Pyrrhus on Liu Che. And then Martel goes to regular CPO. And then 3rd skill, if you have Xeno, you better put on Xeno. That's too much stats. Otherwise, I think you can use GY. Yeah, GY. And then for archers, to be honest, not many good skills left. Oh, let's check Siege first. Siege, I use Honda on the second skill. It gives you 40% attack. That's insane. And then 3rd one, it gotta be this girl. Too much stats. And then for 4th skill, just because there's not many good things left, so I just put like whatever, 15% of capacity. Regarding all of those skills, this skill only works when you launch a normal attack, like basic attack. But when you're using a tower, it's ranged based attack, so it's not even working. So this skill is completely a waste. Also this skill. So for Siege, most of the 4 skill are not even working. Yeah, for 3 archers, the entire idea is like balance your marching speed. That's the whole point. Usually the 2nd skill gotta be marching speed, and then 3rd skill it gotta be tankiness. Just because I need to rally, I put Saladin here. Otherwise, I would put Saladin here. And then for the March of Herman, the 4th skill gotta be Tomi. That's the synergy, right? Like a free ulti right after first round. That's how it works. The poison stack. And then I put Sun Wu here is because I'm running Usher Nabu. Usher Nabu somehow lacks of skill damage increase. We only got 20% here, so I'm adding 20 more from Sun Wu. Hannibal here, because I'm running Zhuge Philip. It just works a little bit with the recasting shit on Philip, and plus the 10% of capacity. It's not really a big deal. And then for Rally and Garrison, especially for Rally, you gotta pair with tankiness when it comes to Kingsland. Because like I mentioned, field power is so powerful, you gotta make sure your rally survives. And that's the only way to survive. Just put everything as tankiness. And then if you're doing multitasking, like you need to garrison with 2 commanders, or you need to do both rally and garrison, the 2nd pair you can put all those skills. This one's tankiness, this one gives you all damage increase in long term. And then this one gives you also tankiness. But this thing you gotta pair with Hera, the skill damage reduction. Okay, so that's pretty much everything for today's video. Hope it helps you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Subscribe and like the video. Thank you for support.